Hey everybody, I'm Lieutenant Joe, and welcome to Hope is Not a Tactic, the Safety and Security Show. So I want to thank my sponsors, Riot Tint. They make the film that covers your doors and windows, and it provides an unbelievable layer of security. Go check them out, riottint.com. It's needed in every school, there's no doubt about it. Also, Blue 360 Media, my publisher, and soon to have a whole area of school safety and security. And Medical Essential Diagnostics. These are people who will help keep you alive. If you're a state employee, township employee, anything, you can get a medical screening for you and two adults at no cost to you. MedicalEssentialDiagnostics.com. Go save your life. That's what we're all about here, saving people's lives. As I'm looking through my list of things that I consider important that we want to talk about, one of the things that we know in many of our schools, the doors and windows can fall into disrepair. I can't tell you how many threat assessments I've done where I go and the doors, you can almost push right through them even though they're closed. They have faulty locks, they're rusted, the centerpieces are no good. I just went to a private school where they stopped using their front doors because they want to control the flow of traffic for security through a side door instead of going through the main doors. But there's 4 or 5 of these main doors, and if I just tugged on them, I could have opened them. They all have to be repaired. We know that in the tragedy in Uvalde, down at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, one of the things that happened was that when the officers got to the door, they assumed that the doors would be locked, where the killer and the victims were on the other side of the door, and the assumption cost a lot of lives. Because as it turns out, the door was broken. All they had to do was turn the knob, right? They were there within 4 minutes. They could have turned the knob, engaged the killer, and saved many, many of the people who died. But instead, they made the decision that, wow, the doors are locked. We need breaching tools. 76 minutes until they got back into that room. And unfortunately, people lost their lives. So what I want to talk about today, this is a very simple thing, but it's important for you to consider. When they looked at that, people said, yeah, we had reported that, and it wasn't always repaired. I see that all the time. People say, yeah, I reported it 20 times, and when they get around to it, other places are great. I hope your place is great. Somebody reports it, and you go fix it immediately. Whether it's a door, a window, any kind of a thing that lets someone into your building, it has to be repaired immediately. So how do you do that? Probably the best thing you could do is create a system where a teacher, a maintenance person, an administrator, anybody can document door number 11 doesn't lock. There's a problem with the lock or whatever. That immediately goes to the maintenance supervisor, right? And the maintenance supervisor sees it, documents that came in, and then immediately goes and take care of it. Then you have a list. You have an actual document that shows when did the complaint come in and how was it handled, right? And then you prioritize that as a district to say, when we get these complaints about doors and windows that aren't working, that becomes priority number 1, right? And that's going to help us keep our schools safe. So create a maintenance log. We know, when did people go over the doors and windows last? Not just for reporting. And I know when the weather changes, right? Not everybody lives in Southern California where it's beautiful all the time. If you live in the Northeast, if you live anywhere where you have real seasonal changes from hot to cold, anytime you have that kind of a seasonal change, the doors and windows can come out of line. They can not work properly because of the change in temperature. So you want to have a program in place where when these seasonal changes take place, you make sure somebody goes, looks, and checks every single door and window to make sure that you're safe. All right. That seems like a simple one, but it's really very important. Door and window maintenance, create a maintenance schedule, create a form for reporting it, create a policy that says when we get a call like that, some kind of a report that a door is not locking, it's not sticking properly, we go fix it right away. That will save lives.